It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Hello, everyone. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the DC fan page that contains a plot synopsis and characters that appear in this issue. So today we're going to be continuing Geoff Johns' run through the Flash. This is a second issue. This is Flash 165 from October of 2000. Geoff Johns had a very lengthy run, did a lot of awesome things. So I figured, you know what? We're going to cover Geoff Johns now on Tuesdays, and we'll go through his Flash run, and then we'll go through a couple of other things. Like he had a short Action Comics run, then he had a lengthy Green Lantern run. So we're gonna kind of go through Geoff Johns' work. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you like it. He's DC's absolute best writer, hands down. Um, he does a lot of really good stuff. So all right, we start off with another great cover by the one and only Brian Bolland, with Captain Cold going to Flash saying, "We're next." And we got a couple of the DC here. Well, first of all, we have Batman, and I believe this is Wonder Woman here, Green Arrow, and Speedy. Um, Maybe Challengers of the Unknown. I am not too. I know this is Robot Man from the Doom Patrol. So I think these two or him, I know. And I don't know who everybody else is. So then we have here Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Girl, and Aqualad. So this must be Aquaman. I love, first of all, I know that the cover isn't really our focus point, but the Superman's boot is green, and they never fixed it on the reprint. I don't think anybody ever noticed. I love Brian Boland's use of lines. It is absolutely incredible. I believe he uses a old-fashioned Cintiq, so he's trained himself how to look on the monitor and then draw just looking ahead. It's that has to take some time here, but Brian Boland's style is exquisite. So chapter 2 starts kind of off, or right off where we left off. Starts with another quote by Lewis Carroll here from Alice in Wonderland. And so we got Flash looking at a couple of headstones here: Kid Flash, Impulse, Johnny Quick, Jesse Quick, Rival, Inertia, Max Mercury, Speed Demon, the Tornado Twins, Zoom, and Savitar. So it's the same creative team as last issue. Geoff Johns is the writer, Angel Unzueta is the penciler, and Doug Hazelwood is the inker. So the Flash is kind of just um, kneeling in front of the snow, looking at the headstones, his head down. Great panel. And so it's narrated in first person. Geoff Johns continues using Mark Waid's trope. And so Captain Cold here is narrating. He says, "My name, man, I hate it. My name's Leonard Snart. It's a bad name, I know, but my parents were bad people. I've got another tag now, Cold. Captain Cold. And this is the last thing I'd ever thought I'd be doing. So I'm here to bust you out, West, so be quick. This place is crawling with badge-wielding fascists. Being quick might be difficult, Cold. My velocity is gone," Flash says. And so there's McRory's badge. Great. The one guy I thought could help me figure out this Twilight Zone. What do you mean gone? Says Captain Cold. And Flash continues here. Muted, weakened. What's going on, Cold? You're the only one that knows who I am, who knows I'm the Flash, or who knows who the Flash is. And Captain Cold then responds, Hell, West. I woke up 3 hours ago outside Gardner Park. I can't remember Jack. Last thing I think I was doing was being chased by you. Now Keystone City is upside down. So they're going out the door. In her twin Central City, I'll have to show you myself. How did you get here? I heard you were nabbed. I've got a radio in my visor to monitor police bands. Let me know when I've been made on jobs, which happens more often than I like to admit. Figured you could tell me where we are. And so then off panel here, someone goes, I can tell you where you're going, gentlemen, the graveyard. Love that look. I also love when artists just slightly put their character into another panel. I like that. So, and then I also love this with where there's no just instead of one straight line or whatever, I like that too. So, this cop here says, this is Zeller. Looks like we've got a visitor all the way from Gotham. Mr. Freeze, just like that nutcase West. And Mr. Freeze just let that nutcase West loose. Goodness gracious, I apologize. Seems your hunch was right, Shire. West has a partner in all this. We need backup. So, if you're kind of confused, check out the last issue, which I have covered. So on the radio, everybody's already busy, pinned down by Plunder and the Thinkers gang. You're going to have to take care of them yourself. I want West alive. Mr. Freeze doesn't matter. Flash then begs the cops, step out of the way, officers, please. We don't want to. And Captain Cold is like, Mr. Freeze, that lovesick freak, he has an ice pistol, shoots snow. My name's Captain Cold, and this is a cold gun. And he presses the trigger. I've achieved what Joule and Thompson only dreamed of. My gun negates thermal motion, stops protons and electrons dead in their tracks. People too. So the gun doesn't shoot. Then let's put that toy away, Jabberjaw, as he hits it. Love the speed lines, very McFarlane-esque. So, as Flash and Captain Cold kind of start fighting the cops, here he brings the cold gun. He goes and grabs it and then shoots him in the jaw, which you know what's going to happen. The name is Cold, and punches him out. And here Flash is probably dislocating this guy's arm. No, he yells. Yes. And he shoots all the cops. He's like, stop it. No more killing. And so we continue the narration from Captain Cole. Wally West, his uncle the Flash before him, was my arch enemy until he died. Unlike these cops, I respected him. But Wally, they'll thaw out in a few hours. This isn't a game of touch football. These guys are playing for keeps, West. So am I. He's still a kid trying to act holier than thou. A good act, but that's all it. And then Flash grabs him and says, look, Snart, you may have a fancy big bad weapon with an ego to match, but you obviously need my help to sort this out. I don't need yours. So you play by my rules or find your own way out of this nightmare. And then you see this awesome, kind of broken up into two panels. Whatever you say, Flash. Would have been cool if this part would have been up here, and then this part would have been here. But this guy's not a bad artist. It's I just don't see a lot of his stuff anywhere. So Hyper Time, it's got to be, says Flash. And Captain Cold's like, what? We're in a parallel universe, Cold, or maybe another time. I've been through it before, but I'm not sure. But this isn't my keystone. First plan of action, I need to figure out how to get my power back, reestablish my connection with the Speed Force. That's the only way I'll get us home. So they're running away. And who's going to do all that? And I need to find the guy who started it all, Jay Garrick, who's the original Silver Age Flash. So, over here then, what do you mean they escaped? No, Jace, I can't get on the trail immediately. We're still pinned down by that Silver Sheath sniper. Plunder and his boys just swiped a whole shipment of gold foil. Probably those vacuum gaskets in the Thinker's caps. But I want to know what else it can be used for. Get me Allen and send out an APB on West and his bud. Then all of a sudden these cops are shot down. So, like picking apples from a tree, rotten ones, says this. This is Plunder. That's 3 more bonuses, DeVoe. The shipment should arrive in. DeVoe, are you getting this? So, this guy, right here. Hey, boss, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm thinking. Think about how much you owe me. That makes 12 bullseyes on the Boy Scouts tonight. I want to make sure my time card's filled out right. And this guy here, what was his name? The Thinker, most likely. You realize, Plunder, that your salary for the year is now totaling nearly $2 million. Tax-free, of course. And if this plan breaks out, Thinker, if your wild idea is right, you'll have much more than an endless cash flow to keep you entertained. There's a new variable in my equation, Plunder, something I just stumbled on. I have your next targets. There's 3 of them, and they hold the key to our success. So this guy's just running target 1, 2, and 3. And so Captain Cold asks, you sure this is it? Says Clarice on the mailbox. And Flash says, Joan Garrett grew up in the house, her mother before that. Jay could never talk her into moving. The Garricks are all about tradition. And suddenly a guy comes up with a shotgun. You've got 5 seconds to get the hell off my property, he says. And this lady goes, Edward, who is it? Damned costume freaks. Get inside, Joan. Call the police. 3. And he takes off his mask and says, Joan, my name is Wally West. And she holds the other guy back and says, Wally. And he pushes her away and says, I said, get inside, woman. And, of course, Flash doesn't like that. Don't do that again. I'll make sure he doesn't, says Captain Cold. I've got him, Cold. Help Joan. And he points at her. Help her up. Should have thought of that, I suppose. You okay, lady? I think so, thank you. And Captain Cold aims at him and says, get this creep inside, Cold. Give me a minute. And Jones says, please, what do you want? And Flash says, I'm sorry. I don't mean to frighten you. Do you know me, Wally West? No. Do you know Jay Garrick? And she's like, yes, I did. So, and so Captain Cold continues narrating. This place reminds me of my parents' house. Smells like cigarettes and pine sol. All my dad did was smoke, and my mother cleaned. And this guy hears, I know people on the Keystone Force. They'll fry you for this. And Captain Cold is already wanted, pal. Threaten somebody else. Captain Cold continues, they didn't drink much. That was me and my sister's jobs. Sometimes I miss her. Most of the time I'm glad she's dead. We didn't get along in the end. Oh, I was never much for family. Nothing but problems anyway. Only real family I ever had was with the Rogues. Scudder, Rory, Martin, Allen. But most are retired or... The death of the hero. What the hell is this? Asks Captain Cold as he points at that book. And that guy goes to hit him. And Captain Cold is like, they never learn. And he aims the gun. I'm sorry to put you through this. And Jonah's like, no, I haven't talked about him in so long. But I do still see him every week. Edward would kill me if he knew. You should leave, Joan. Jay would have wanted you to if he knew. He's like, I hope I'm not interrupting. And Flash says, I hate running off like this, leaving her with that drunk. And then Captain Cold is like, he won't be roughing up anymore tonight, West. Don't worry. Eddie and I shook on it, and she's like, oh no. And he's all frozen. So here in the next panel, got somebody. It seems to be like a splash, but built broken up into panels here. So why didn't they tell you? It's strange. And someone's talking like from a phone or something. And this guy says, I don't think they knew he was our nephew, Iris, but you said it yourself. It's not really Wally, right? And then, so this must be Iris and Barry. I just talked to him. He's with his mom, still trying to help patch up his parents' relationship. I wish he'd worry about finding one of his own. He's always saying he can't run away fast enough to escape the gravitational pull of Blue Valley. Poor kid, so much potential. And so Barry says, I'm sure it's a big mistake, but I'm going to meet Shire right now. I just got some lab results and hurry home, honey. Don't wait up. You know I will. And so Barry says, wonder what Shire's going to say. This gray stuff that was on Wally's boots was powdered glass. So Barry here is in the cemetery, and he says, she said he died a hero, and this is Jay Garrick. So he died and never became the Flash. Joined up with the army after he recovered from the lab accident in 1940. The lab accident was supposed to give him super speed. Jay Garrick never was the Flash. So no one was Kid. And so Flash, I know, Cold, I'm beginning to understand. That's why the cops said Wally West was just a school teacher in Blue Valley, because he is. Why I saw Barry Allen when I was locked up, still a police scientist, still alive. I hoped it was the drugs that psychiatrist slipped me. And Captain Cold says he swiped the book from Joan's house. It's about the history of heroes, how they fell from grace. Everyone in here, Green Lantern, Batman, even the Creeper, but there's no mention of the Flash. A world without the Speed Force, Wally says. A world without the Flash. I spent every day of my life dreaming of what that would be like. But here, it ain't pretty, West. I like the sort of silhouette, but just the yellow and the white showing through. It's pretty cool. It ain't pretty at all. So again, we go to Captain Cold's inner monologue. Starts off by saying how the Justice Society of America was the first superhero team. Wildcat, Hawkman, blah blah. No speedster. And so we gotta go down because of the vertical panels here. It says here, when the Justice Society went up against a monster called the Stalker, Mr. Terrific was killed in action. Struck a blow to American morale. Uncle Sam decided to drop the big one on Berlin. Starman and the others helped. They annihilated Germany. It's gone. And soon after, so were all the members of the JSA, retired in shame. So looks like the atom bomb was then put in on Germany instead of Japan. That explosion ended the first wave of superheroes. Decades later, a new breed was born. The Justice League of America. Here they are fighting Starro. The world's greatest heroes for about 10 minutes. The Flash Barry wasn't there. And so they fall. And Aquaman's back must not have been covered as well as it should have been. King of the Seven Seas was deep sixed by some alien named Starro. Half of the alien heroes were thrown into concentration camps after the funeral. Some died. And then it was the children's turn. The Teen Titans, a group you were a member of, as Kid Flash didn't last long either. Aqualad was determined to carry on his mentor's legacy. He gathered other young heroes together to help him do it. When a small town was under attack by Mr. Twister, some wind-controlling rogue, they rushed to stop him. Speedy and Aqualad were killed, the air sucked out of their lungs. You weren't there to help, Wally. Wonder Girl was put in a coma and never woke up. Mr. Twister was hunted down by the Amazons, slaughtered, his head put on a spike, and left outside JLA headquarters. Ooh, it's a dark world indeed. The message was clear. All young heroes were removed from action. A large portion of the adults started playing judge, jury, and executioner. Nightwing here. America followed suit. And see here, when they give up, they still shoot them down anyway. It gets weirder, Wally. Take a gander. Central City is all but destroyed. It's in the book, too. Back in the 50s, the Shade, Fiddler, and the Thinker had a little personal war over the city. It was left in rubble. And so Captain Cold continues, the cities don't reflect each other anymore. I know Heatwave and I used to scuffle, but we'd never. Hold on, says Flash. Reflect. Those guys did have a war over a city, but it was Keystones, not Central. Opposite. So, aren't you right-handed, Cold? Yeah, what? You've been holding your gun with your left hand. What the hell? What's it? We're in a mirror world, Cold. One, guess who's responsible, Flash says. Freeze. Swipe my line, says Captain Cold. Damn, I was hoping I'd avoid him. Gotcha, punks. And here's Barry Allen, the Flash, or the original Flash. And here are the cops. And he's like, Barry. So, alright, so this ends Flash 165. Like I said, we will be covering all of Geoff Johns' Flash run. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.